If we cannot recognize where evil is manifesting in the world we see outside of ourselves, we will not recognize where it is taking root within ourselves. The devil and the Antichrist are one. Devil's meaning is the reversal of lived. The reverse of life is death, and the reverse of Christ, who is the Son of God, the light of God, and the love of God, is but the death of Christ. The Antichrist is not a being, but an insane belief that we are not loved by God, because our own meaning does belong within the meaning of Christ's own. This belief denies our true meaning, which is inseparable from Christ's meaning. Our life is one with the Creator's life, just as Christ's life is one with God's life. There is only one Creator and only one life. Therefore, the meaning of Christ is found within who we are. All that denies this in this world has its roots within the Antichrist. The Antichrist law is the law of division and punishment. The law of God is the law of oneness, which is the law of His love for all creation. We can choose one, but we cannot choose both. The Antichrist represents the idea of a false son, utterly unlike what God created. It is the delusion that Christ, who is as powerful as His Father, who is all-powerful, has somehow been rendered powerless and abandoned by His Father's love. This love is not only God's essence, but the very meaning of power and the meaning of heaven. To believe that God's most beloved creation, His Son, could be made dead is the height of insanity. Yet this idea underlies all our fears, every doubt, pain, disease and weariness, and the final belief in death. Every defense we build is a cry of weakness, and every attack we make stems from this madness. Only the weak see value in attack. The strong, rooted in truth, have no need for it. Each tomb but proclaims the same belief. Here lies the Son of God, powerless against death, unloved by His Father, judged guilty and sinful. This declaration denies God's love and power, making death appear victorious over life. Underneath this belief there lies yet another, darker still. If God loved his Son, and his Son was powerless against death, then God's love must be weak. In this twisted logic, the power of heaven is destroyed, and the Creator himself is overthrown by evil. Every time we are taught to fear and hate each other, we are listening to the voice of the Antichrist. The voice of the Antichrist is to sever all communication with the power of God. The power of God lies in peace. And so the laws of the Antichrist are made to overthrow freedom, for without freedom there is no peace. The fear of God, the fear of each other, and the fear of loss is all achieved by making dumb the mind of man, filling his mind with worthless goals and worthless objects to keep his mind in fantasy and in dreams. When we fail to confront our fears, we fail to understand them and do not see them grow within our minds. They form a veil that hides the face of Christ within us. They become the dark sentinels that hold up all the illusions and a complete insane thought system of hell. The illusions of separation from our source, the illusions of guilt, and the fear of death itself. Yet these fears are deceptions. They are powerless as a shadow or a dream. Their only strength lies in their ability to deceive us. When we see them for what they truly are, they lose all their power. They no longer hold authority over us. This realization marks the return of Christ, not as an external event, but as an awakening within. It is the lifting of this dark veil in our minds, revealing the radiant face of Christ within, the face which is but our own. The glory of Christ cannot be taught, neither can it be learnt. The golden light of being can only be understood through seeing. This same light is within us all. Yet the Antichrist can be taught. In fact, it must be learned. One cannot teach what one is, because the glorious light of being has no equal in this world. Yet what one is not must be learned if one is lost within a fearful dream. How the Antichrist operates in this world can be learnt, and how to recognize it when it speaks through us, and how to deny all of its many forms. Understanding the meaning of the Antichrist, a complete system of thought that denies who we truly are and who we were created to be, a system of thought that denies we are loved and every need taken care of. Our true meaning is found within the meaning of Christ. We are not powerless beings made to survive in an uncaring world, only to suffer loss and die. We were not created for this. The Antichrist is the belief that we are powerless against loss, because of the loss of our Creator's love for us, and death is the final loss. It is not a living being but an insane idea we mistakenly hold to be true. The world we are making for ourselves is a reflection of this belief about ourselves. Since the Antichrist is not alive, it exists only as a lifeless construct, much like a machine. A machine is a non-living complete system designed to function in a specific way. Similarly, the Antichrist operates as a complete system of insane thoughts, a mechanism that denies the power of God. We have built such systems in this world, and now they appear to rule over us. These systems have taken worldly power, making it appear as an authority. It creates laws that serves the belief in division, dividing man apart, and enforcing a form of justice rooted in madness. Being lifeless itself, it makes as itself was made. It worships what is without life, valuing all the symbols of power like money, status, and all the machines of war and weapons of killing to replace the power it can never have. It operates through the deception that it is necessary, that without it we are vulnerable and weak. It is the belief that an insurance policy against each other is sanity, yet it offers what it does not have. Being itself confused about what reality is, it gives only more confusion. Money, a symbol of worldly power, drives this organization of beliefs. It takes power by force, enslaving those who are taught to depend on it through its own laws. This lifeless organization cannot sustain itself without stealing power from the living. It claims authority of the entire world leaving nothing free for those who were created by God to be free. This entity enforces its rule through laws of punishment designed to strip away the freedom that belongs to God's creation. As it divided the world, so it divided itself, that nothing would be understood wholly, dividing itself and the world into fragmented parts to prevent real communication. As it divides, it creates a world divided, where division breeds the ground for fear, hatred and envy, fuel for the Antichrist's survival. While these sane thoughts originate in the mind, they are clearly reflected in the world. For those seeking truth, the evidence is visible, a non-living entity that rules by force, enforcing unjust laws and perpetuating corruption. These entities speak against God's reality and deny His children their inheritance. The Antichrist is a lifeless entity hiding in plain sight. It is the great deception, visible yet defended by those it enslaves. It is valued by those who have forgotten what is truly valuable. True value lies not in the illusions of power in this world, but is in the power of God within all who were created by God. In this world, we are the dreamers of our own reality. We are life itself. The meaning of Christ is our meaning, and the life of God is our life. To reclaim our true inheritance and our freedom, we must recognize the sovereignty within us. We must claim the name of a child of God as our own and deny only what denies our rightful name, a name we all share within the loving mind of God.